FFRED, the face-fit respirator demonstrator model. Respirators are also known as masks. You may hear them being referred to as either of these by industry, and they may also be referred to as face pieces. The following videos are filmed by BSIF with HSE to demonstrate the importance of fitting your respirator correctly, considering other PPE worn in conjunction with the respirator, conducting face-fit testing of tight-fitting masks to individual wearers, and ensuring a proper seal to the face. It is important that your respirator is adequate and suitable for the work being undertaken. We will also show you what happens if the respirator does not fit properly. Fred is not wearing a respirator, but he is not being exposed to any hazardous substance. This part is the lungs. Moving this plunger out represents one inhale of the lungs. We will now show you what happens when Fred is exposed to a substance which is hazardous to health when breathed in. Examples may include asbestos fibres, respirable crystalline silica, also known as RCS, flour dust, welding fumes, and solvent vapours. Remember, some hazardous substances are invisible. The hazardous substance used here for visual purposes is artificial smoke, and this shows how hazardous substances present in the air can get into our lungs. Before the smoke is inhaled, you can see that the lungs are empty. When we introduce the artificial smoke here, we can now see that it has gone into the lungs. There is just as much smoke getting into the lung as there is in the air in the enclosure. When the correct mask for a hazard is used and fitted correctly, it should be capable of protecting or reducing exposure to the hazardous substances that we may breathe in to an acceptable level required to protect the wearer's health. The masks used in the video serve to illustrate the importance of proper fitting. Any issues shown are due to intentional poor fitting for demonstration purposes, not inherent flaws in the masks. With proper face-fit testing and adherence to manufacturer's instructions for use, commonly referred to as manufacturer's instructions, during donning any of the masks shown can provide a good fit. Here, Fred is wearing a filtering facepiece mask, also known as an FFP. The straps are positioned as shown in the manufacturer's instructions, with the lower strap around the smallest part of the back of the neck, and the upper strap sitting just above the ears and around the fullest part of the back of the head. Ear loop respirators or masks do not provide protection as tight-fitting RPE, as for the majority of workers, the seal to the face cannot be achieved if the respirator or mask relies on ear loops to hold it in place. These types of masks were subject to an HSE safety alert in 2022. In January 2024, the UK government placed a restriction on the relevant standard EN 149. This was as a result of HSE research highlighting that respiratory protective equipment designed with ear loops does not provide the required protection against inhalation of hazardous substances by the user, due to the failure of these respirators to adequately provide a sufficient face seal to prevent any leakage of hazardous substances being breathed in. Find out more via the links shown on screen. The mask shown here has a metal nose clip. Notice how it is being shaped to the contours of the nose, firmly shaped using the fingers of both hands moving outwards from the bridge of the nose. This will ensure that the mask is well sealed around the nose with no gaps for contaminated air to leak through. How can employers be certain which mask is capable of fitting each wearer well? A face-fit test will demonstrate how well a mask fits. Also known as a fit test, it needs to be carried out if a mask is meant to fit tightly to the face, and it is a regulatory requirement in Great Britain to do so. This type of mask is called a tight-fitting facepiece. Tight-fitting masks include all filtering facepieces like this one, which is also known as an FFP, as well as half masks and full face masks. All these types must be face-fit tested. Fit testing should only be carried out by trained, competent people, and it is the responsibility of employers to ensure this. One way fit testers can demonstrate that they are competent is to achieve accreditation under the Fit to Fit scheme. This scheme is not compulsory, and you are free to take other action to comply with the law. HSE would expect you to demonstrate competence in the process. Here, Fred is wearing the FFP3, but the nose clip is not correctly fitted and moulded to the nose. So, before the smoke is inhaled, you can see that the lungs are empty. When we introduce the artificial smoke here, we can now see that it has gone into the lungs. Here, Fred is wearing the same FFP with the lower strap not worn correctly and hanging below the mask. Before the smoke is inhaled, you can see that the lungs are empty. When we introduce the artificial smoke here, we can now see that it has gone into the lungs. Here, Fred is wearing an FFP which has been fitted correctly. We can now see how clear the lung is. Here, Fred is wearing a half mask with a particulate filter. The lung is being kept clear as the mask has been correctly fitted, with the straps correctly positioned as shown in the manufacturer's instructions. This is a moulded type of mask, so there is no nose clip to adjust. When breathing in, the smoke in the air is being forced through the mask's external filters, and so protecting Fred. Look how clean the air is in the lung compared to the air in the enclosure. Now let's look at Fred wearing a full face mask. The mask is fitted with particulate filters. The lung is being kept clear as the mask has been correctly fitted with the straps correctly positioned as shown in the manufacturer's instructions. This mask is a full face type. There is no nose clip to adjust. When breathing in, the smoke in the air is being forced through the mask's external filters, and so protecting Fred. We can see how clear the lung is as it has been fitted correctly. Now let's consider some of the factors that can interfere with a mask's fit. Fred is wearing an FFP3 mask again, but is not clean shaven. The mask has been donned correctly with the straps correctly positioned as shown in the manufacturer's instructions, but the mask cannot be sealed to the face with the presence of the beard, and so when we put on the plunger there is smoke in the lungs. Anything that gets in the way of or interferes between the wearer's face and the seal of the mask affects the protection provided. Fred is wearing the same FFP3 mask here and is not clean shaven, although this time there is only stubble. The Velcro represents the stubble. The mask has been donned correctly with the straps correctly positioned as the manufacturer intended. However, the mask cannot be sealed to the face, and so again, when we pull on the plunger, there is smoke in the lungs. Fred is wearing an FFP3 mask, but is wearing it with safety glasses. The mask has been donned correctly with the straps correctly positioned on the head as the manufacturer intended, but the side arms of the glasses are beneath the straps of the mask. To be able to see through the safety glasses, the mask has also been pushed down on the face, so is not correctly positioned on the face, and interferes with the seal between the face and the seal of the mask. The smoke here shows what impact other head-worn items of personal protective equipment, or PPE, can have on mask fitting. Items may include hard hats, safety glasses, and ear defenders, for example. It is important that a fit test is undertaken wearing other items of head-worn PPE that would be worn at the same time as the mask you are being fit tested for. This is to ensure that the mask still fits when these items are worn in conjunction with each other. We can see again that as the mask is not properly sealed to the face, when we pull on the plunger, there is smoke in the lungs. Next, let's look at the importance of your mask being in good working order. This is a new half mask with no damage. Here we can see inside the mask that the valve is sat flush against the surface. It is not missing. It is also flexible and not brittle nor broken. When breathing in, the smoke in the air is being forced through the mask's external filters and so protecting Fred. Look how clean the air is in the lung compared to the air in the enclosure. Now we will see what happens if this valve is removed. When we put on the plunger, we can see there is smoke in the lungs. These videos have shown the importance of maintaining a good seal when wearing a tight-fitting facepiece or mask, checking the mask before donning for any damage, and the importance of fit testing so workers use the correct mask for themselves. Advice should be sought from the manufacturer about the type of filters needed for specific types of hazardous substances that you are trying to protect yourself against. Further information can be found in HSC Guidance HSG 53 Respiratory Protective Equipment at Work, a Practical Guide. For more information on fit testing, see the HSC Guidance INDG 479 Guidance on Respiratory Protective Equipment Fit Testing. Fit testing should always be undertaken by someone who is competent to do so, and details of competent fit testers can be found via the Fit2Fit website, where you can also download method-specific fit testing companions which detail how face fit testing should be carried out. The Fit2Fit companion guides provide more information on fit testing and are found online at the links shown on screen. These guides provide complementary practical guidance to the requirements set out in INDG 479.